This is Robert Martellacci, the MindShare Learning Report. I'm here for a MindShare Learning Moment with Andrew Schmitt, a grade 4-5 teacher at Joyce Public School in Toronto District. Good morning, Andrew. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Robert.
Now, I'm really intrigued by the recent conference you attended, the World Innovation Conference for Education, that you were specifically invited to. It was by invitation only. What an honor that must have been.
Yeah, it was an incredible honor for sure. There were about 1,000 delegates from 90 different countries that were invited, and I was one of them.
Fantastic. Now, how many other delegates from Canada were at the table for this?
I think there were about 15. It was sort of hard to get a sense in amongst the huge crowds, but I definitely met about 15 other people from Canada that were there. So yeah.
So what were your impressions? What were your takeaways in terms of how Canada is doing on a global stage?
Right. Well, there were three focuses of the conference. So on sustainability, on pluralism, and on innovation. And so they structured it in that way. So because we're talking about education on a global scale, it was very interesting to see that perspective of how Canada fits in. Some of the major themes that came out were the quality of teacher education. And I think in terms of what we're doing in Canada, we're light years ahead of other places in terms of AQ courses and just the training program in general. But definitely there's a teacher shortage that's happening around the world, and I think we don't necessarily feel that in Toronto so much because I know it's really difficult to get a job, but in other parts of Canada, definitely the rural areas, I think we are definitely experiencing that in Canada as well.
And I'm well aware that there is an excess supply, particularly in the Toronto area, because it's one of the more desired areas to live and work. But so for those teachers who are out there, there's tremendous opportunities internationally and in the, as you said, in the more rural areas. What I neglected to mention was that as a lead teacher that you are and an exemplary teacher, you were winner of the Premier's Award last year.
That's right, yes.
And so that really speaks to your passion for learning and teaching and the impact that you make in the classroom and being a 21st century educator. From that perspective, what did you sense in terms of what we're doing in Canada and what we need to do going forward as far as 21st century learning frameworks are concerned and integrating technology on a daily basis so that's seamless?
Right. I mean, we're really lucky in Canada because we have a lot of infrastructure already in place. One of the major themes too was this idea of mobile learning, and I think that's definitely something that I think we need to start exploring more here. We have students that have these mobile devices that they have at their disposal, and I think it's how you can use those devices in a classroom setting and to really model that as a teacher and to use it as a tool for learning as opposed to tools for other things. I think that's a huge thing for us to be looking at and something that I definitely want to explore some more.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that because I presented at the Central Ontario Computer Coordinators meeting last week, and one of the districts is moving to wireless and enabling teachers and students to bring their technology to school. And from what I gather, your new director, Dr. Chris Spence, has also made that a high priority. So I really sense that, I talk about a revolution, and certainly all indicators lead to that, I would say. What's your sense on that?
I definitely agree, and I think that we are being inhibited by infrastructure at this point. How many outlets are in classrooms, right? I mean, you might only have 2 plugs in your room, so how can you do a lot in terms of that? And then let's not talk about internet drops and the cost of that. But I think when we start looking in terms of mobile, you're looking at all of those things sort of not mattering anymore. Like the logistics of that disappears, which means that you're not worrying about cables, you're worried about the devices, and you're looking at how to use those effectively, not where can I plug this machine in.
And then being transparent. It's not about the technology, it's about the learning.
Yeah.
Now, you're fortunate to be in a school that is well endowed with technology. You've got a tremendous principal in Cheryl Page who has been a mentor to me in many respects, and has an eye for talent. Now, what makes Joyce Public so special to you?
Well, I think first and foremost it's our kids and our community. I really do. I think we have an amazing group of children, and then after that, I think definitely comes the teachers and the staff at the school. I think everyone in this building really wants the best education possible, and that transfers from the principal all the way down to the smallest kindergarten student, includes the parents and everybody. And I think that's really the difference about this school, for sure.
Well, excellent. Thank you for taking the MindShare Learning moment with us. I know you're on your lunch break and need to get back to class, and we got some kids in the background who are exploring the Olympics and what's happening online. So until next time, keep the learning curve steep.